Hi, thanks for joining us. It's Wednesday, and today I'm going to kind of continue on from something we talked about on Monday. We were talking about Joe Cocker, and I said, well, we talked about him way back when I did an episode on his albums. We talked about him when we talked about the Leon Russell albums. Leon Russell, Joe Cocker, got me thinking. Another performer that was tied in with them, and this is another album I was recently gifted as I didn't have anything of hers. Hey, it's Rita Coolidge, background singer. This album is called Anytime, Anywhere. Now, Rita Coolidge had started out, discovered by Delaney and Bonnie back in the early 70s. You may remember them, Delaney and Bonnie, Paul Clapton. Something here, it says, during the 70s, she had songs on the charts in the following categories: pop, country, adult, contemporary, and jazz. She was covering a big territory. She's been a background singer for a number of artists. I'm just going to read them off because there's almost too many to remember. We got Delaney and Bonnie, Leon Russell, Joe Cocker, and again we're into that Mad Dogs and Englishmen, and maybe the Cocker's first or second album. Harry Chapin, Bob Dylan, Jimi Hendrix, Eric Clapton, Graham Nash, Stephen Stills. I mean, it's a who's who that she's performed with. And again, starting out as a background singer. Now, if you remember, the one album we talked about was Mad Dogs and Englishmen, Cocker's first big tour in the U.S., and the film that came out, Leon Russell being musical director, and Rita Coolidge was singing background. She also got featured on the Leon Russell tune, Superstar. So that was her stepping out front. But again, first exposure I really had to Rita Coolidge. I knew the name, never heard her music, heard her on Mad Dogs and Englishmen. She later married Chris Christopherson. She became famous with that connection, made a couple of albums with him. She's put on a long series of albums over her career. She's had a couple of big hits, one of them included on here. The song, Your Love Has Lifted Me Higher and Higher. And I'm sure many people know that tune. Myself, I didn't realize it was Rita Coolidge at the time. But yeah, I recognized the song, and yeah, it was a great tune she had. The Way You Do the Things You Do, old Smokey Robinson tune. We've got We're All Alone, the Boz Scaggs tune. And we haven't talked about Boz Scaggs, but I don't have any of his albums. But yeah, this song was a very popular one. We did talk about the song before, though, on the Bob James 1 album, where Bob James did a very slowed down, or maybe it was on Bob James 2, did a very slowed down version of this, and really a different take on it that was quite excellent. I feel the burden being lifted off my shoulders, and I don't want to talk about it. Side 2 of the album were Words, Good Times, Who's to Bless and Who's to Blame, Southern Lady, and The Hungry Years. Now, significant about here, what have we got? We got a couple of great players on the group. Session bassist, Lee Sklar. I've talked about him on a number of albums. I mean, he's played bass with everybody. Playing on here, Booker T. Jones. We featured Booker T. in his own segment with Booker T. and the MGs, playing organ and keyboard. We've got Kim Carnes, who is one of my top viewed videos. She was singing background on the album. I'm just trying to look and see who we had for songwriters on here, because I think it was a pretty interesting array. Songwriters, we got, well, Smokey Robinson, we've got Boz Scaggs, we have, let me see on this side, the Bee Gees, the Gibb Brothers, Sam Cooke, Chris Christopherson, Neil Sedaka, Lee Hazelwood. I mean, all kinds of great performers or great writers have contributed tunes to this. And again, the great players, Booker T, Lee Sklar, Kim Carnes, all of them helping out with the album. So it was a real treat from that standpoint, because, you know, I always like to look and see who the session players are, who's contributing. It's not just about the main performer, it's these people that help that main performer sound their best. And it was an interesting album. Again, I recognized a few of the tunes. I really enjoy the background players that are contributing here, and like the song choices. Back cover for you. Now, I did go on her website. Apparently, she is still active, but no tours booked right now, although she had played in 2022, she had performed. So at this stage, there's nothing lined up for the coming months, but check it out. A lot of stuff on streaming networks. Always check out YouTube, and it's great. Some of their websites have a lot of great information, discographies, and swag, man. If you want to buy something, you can order it through the store. And a good chance to check out on what they're up to and check the tour information. Maybe you get a chance to see them when they come to your town. So that was today. It was a surprise album, someone I'd heard of a long time ago, and again, that was through the music of Joe Cocker and Leon Russell. Here she is stepping out front with Anytime, Anywhere, Rita Coolidge. Okay, that's it for Wednesday. We're rolling through this week. See you back on Friday when we have a classic album from the 1960s. I'd like to kick off the weekend with some good old rock and roll. Join us then. Till then, take care. Stay safe. See you on Friday.